Hi, I'm Tony, and today we are going to make a really cool flip and fill baskets. So I came across this pattern of flip and fill baskets. It is by Around the Bobbin, who I know personally. She's amazing, and her patterns are amazing. And I thought this would be the perfect project for these awesome Halloween fabrics. So if you didn't see my unboxing of the Benartex Halloween fabrics for the 2025 Christmas and More holiday event in July, I've got that link down below if you want to see it. So if you want to see all of the fabrics I've got to choose from, you can see them all in there. They're pretty cool. But I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do with these fabrics? So I made a really cool bag, but then I thought, well, let me make something else. Halloween, right? Well, what else could we do for Halloween but those really cool candy containers? So I was like, you know what? These flip and fill baskets would be perfect to hold candy at Halloween. So let's make one together using this awesome Halloween fabric, and let's see how this turns out. All right, so before I get into working on the pattern, I do need to say that I am not being compensated for this in any way. I did get the pattern for free from Around the Bobbin because I know her. She's amazing. And I said, hey, I've got to make a project with this fabric. She says, oh, I've got the perfect thing. So she sent me the pattern. Said, I'm like, you know what? You don't have any tutorials. Let me do a tutorial. So I'm not being compensated in any way for making this tutorial. I have linked the pattern down below, so if you decide that you want to make this as well, you can go down below, take a look at the pattern, and you can purchase it if you decide to. I am not being compensated in any way, affiliate or whatever. I'm not an affiliate of hers, not being compensated if you do decide to purchase the pattern or not. So all of the things I'm showing you, if I give an opinion, it is my own opinion. I'm not being paid for it. All right, let's get into it. So first step, we need to cut all of our things. I decided to go with the large size. So I've got my interior fabric. I chose this one because I think that would be a cute interior fabric when you're reaching in to grab candy and you see all this cute stuff. I went with this one for my exterior fabric. And the pattern says to use the same binding as you have as your exterior, but I was like, I don't want to do that. So I decided to go with this lovely off fabric right here. So I've got that one. All right, so after you do that, and of course I've got my stabilizer. My foam stabilizer. Now, I did decide to go with a standard regular foam stabilizer. It is not fusible of any kind. So when I get there, I just have to make a decision if I'm using my applique paper or if I'm using spray fusible. I'll probably make a decision when I get there. All right, so step number one, after we've got everything all cut out, is we went to prep our foam stabilizer. So I did, and it is a PDF that I was sent, so I printed out my template. The very first thing you want to do when you print a template is, if you, of course, you don't have the physical pattern, if you have the PDF, is you want to check your 1 inch. So if this is exactly 1 inch, and of course, I already checked mine, and as you can see, mine is a perfect 1 inch right there. That means that it is fine. So I went ahead and I cut out my template. And if you hear a little shaking, I have a foster dog who is walking around down here because I'm alone in the house and she can't be alone. You want to say hi, Miss Bree? Say hi, Miss Bree. Hi, Miss Bree. So she's ready. So if you hear her running around, that's what it is. Okay. All right. Back to the project. We've got we need to prep our foam stabilizer. So we cut it out, and then I'm following along the pattern. So it wants me to go right there. So I'm tracing along. Okay, so we trace all of these. And then after I trace all of these, it wants me to cut out all 4 pieces with scissors. All right, so you'll see me, I'll speed it up a little bit. I'm going to trace this because it's taking me a bit to trace it, and then I'm going to cut it out. Yep, there it is. Perfect. All right, so let's do that. now it wants us to mark the center at the top and the bottom. Oh, that should be easy enough. So, let's see, this is how big? This is 8 inches wide. So, at 4 inches, and you notice how I'm using my Sew Tights magnetic. That way, it doesn't slip, and the magnets hold it all the way through as I'm doing it. Wait, no, that's not it. That's 2.5. Haha, that's funny. All right. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. That's not center. Okay, that's center. That's our 4. There we are. There we are. That sounds about right. Okay, or looks about right. So let me fold this. Oh yeah, look at that. It folded right along it. Perfect. So that is the center. Okay, so we've got that as my center. I just drew it straight down. That way it just makes it easier for me. And next page, layer and stitch the sides. So we went to fuse the wrong side of the interior. So this is our interior, following the manufacturer's directions. So I do not have a fusible. So instead, what I am going to do is use, oops, there we go, 16.5. Instead, what I am going to use is a spray. I'm going to use a spray basting. I'm just going to spray a little bit along here. And of course, it says if you're not using a fusible, baste the foam to the wrong side with 1/8 of an inch seam along here. So that's what I may do. I may just do a little bit of spray through there and then baste it right there just to hold it to make sure it stays. So let me do that. In fact, I'm going to remove this and grab my basting spray. I think that'll make it just a little bit easier. Although, I don't want to spray that side. I want to spray this side because I want to be able to see my line. Because if I look at the picture is on the back there. So, let me do that. Now the trick when you're using basting spray like this is not to get it on your actual mat itself. Okay. Now I do like the OTIF, the 505 temporary adhesive basting spray, because that way, if I do it a little bit too big or too small, I can reposition it. All right, I think that's good. Oh yeah, look at that. That's perfect. Okay, oh, it looks like I'm gonna shift it that way. There we are. Shifting over that way, because it really wasn't centered. Okay. And that is a good basting spray. Perfect. I like that. Look at that. There we are. I've got it in there. All right, basting spray down. Next, place the interior body and exterior body right sides together with the foam on top and clip the sides with fabric clips. So let's lay this down. Okay. And then we are going to clip the sides. All right, let me get my clips. So she says to do 3 here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then 3 on this side. 1, 2, 3. All right. Stitch the side of the basket using a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, so it looks like she wants me to sew down here a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, and then leave the other two sides open. All right, let's go do that. Let's go sew this. Now, if you watch my videos, you know, if you've done my patterns, if you've seen me teach classes, you know I am the queen of ish. I firmly believe that, you know what, it's good enough. This is fine. This is fine. And yeah, that's the case in this one. So as long as it's close enough and you're happy with it, it's good. So what I did is I went from the 1/4 inch from the inside of my foam right here, and we're just going to see how that turns out. All right, so we need to turn the right side out and quilt. So turn the basket right side out. All right, so we're going to flip this right here. Let me turn on my iron. So we're going to flip this. Flip, flip, flip. Flip, 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 flip. Perfect. And let's see. Press the side seams and clip with fabric clips. Oh yeah, that's going to be cool. That's going to be really cool looking. The instructions want me to put 3 clips here, and that's probably just to hold everything together, so the fabric itself doesn't slip and slide while you are quilting it. And it's saying that you can use a walking foot to make it easier for the quilting. I'm not going to use a walking foot because I'm using my B08, my Bernat B08, which I adore and love. So I'm going to go ahead and do the next step. So we're going to stitch a 1/4 inch from the side seam. So I'm going to stitch a 1/4 inch down each side. And then I'm going to go in 4 inches, 8 inches, 12 inches down the center. And then I'm going to use an off-white fabric, so you'll be able to see it a little bit on the purple. If I was doing this without a tutorial, I'd probably use a purple to kind of like blend it in, or maybe an orange. No, off-white. I'm going to use an off-white. And then after that, it wants me to do halfway between A and B. Oh, so before 8, 12, and then 5 1/2. Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to do all that and then come back. So we're going to stitch, 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 and then do that, and then come back, and then we will do the next step. All right, so I've got my lines. You see my lovely lines in there. And I was reading through the instructions, and it says that these lines here are necessary, but these is up to your preference. And I'm like, well, why would these be necessary? Well, the next step is folding these over. Those lines make it so easy for this next step of folding over. I'm like, oh, well, that's why. All right, so they want me to fold this over and clip at the top, and folding this over, clipping at the top here. Oops. There we go there. Ah, I think I see what we're doing. And then folding this over. You like my ish. Folding that over and clipping that. Oh, that's got to go a little bit tighter. There we go, just like that. I'm going to fold that here. And then this one is going to go here. And it said with the exterior side of the basket facing up, fold along, clip at the ends. Stitch across each ends a scant 1/4 inch from the raw edges. Okay, well then I'm going to put more clips in here because I think I want to keep this part completely closed right here. There we go. And then same thing over here. Okay, and over just like that. Perfect. There we are. All right, so I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch there and a 1/4 inch there and come back. One of the joys of doing videos is when you like do the whole video and then you come back and you realize it stopped recording and you have a finished project. So I'm going to show, the only thing that didn't record was the binding. So I'm going to show you how to do the binding really quickly. It's pretty easy. It's a really cool way of doing binding. What you want to do is you take the binding, all right, and then you put it just like this. So right side to right side. Then you're wrapping the binding around, okay? So it looks like this, all right? Then you are sewing this just like that. Once you're done sewing, this whole thing flips up. You're going to iron this, and then on the other side, whenever you see this raw edge right here, what you do is that you fold this raw edge so it meets the raw edge of your project. Okay, so you're actually folding this down. So you see how I'm folding this down like this and ironing it. All right, so this should be in just like that. And then once you do that, fold it in again so it looks like this. And then just sew along there. Now, in the instructions, she suggests that you use your hand sewing for your binding. I don't have the patience for that, so I did it twice. Now, you do have a chance of it slipping in the machine, so what I did is I did 2 lines of sewing, one along the edge here and one along the edge there. Then, after you do that, you then sew here. So you see how I've sewn a diamond all across through there. So I'm measuring 4 inches from there to there because it's the large one, and then I'm drawing my diagonal. And if you feel it, that's actually, you can feel where the groove of where it's supposed to go in of where you cut the foam. It's actually pretty cool. So I sewed right along through there, and then I have my finished project. All right, so now let's see how it looks. All right, so we need to flip this. Oh, I reversed my fabrics. Wow. Okay, so apparently I flipped my fabrics. I meant to have that one on the inside and that on the outside, but you know what? I like that better. That's actually really cool. Look how big. Oh, this is going to be a cool, this is the perfect size Halloween candy bowl. Look at this. That's so cool. I love it. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. All right. That's, yeah. Ah, I love it. I love it so much. All right. I think I'm going to have to make some more of these because look at all of this fabric they sent me for Halloween. Okay. I'm going to have to make a whole bunch of these bowls. I may give them as gifts. I may use them. I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is a pretty cool bowl. I really like this. I like that a lot. That's really cool. Okay, so don't forget, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, follow my YouTube, as well as Instagram, Facebook, my Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group, Twitch, where I stream live. And if you want to see me at a store, convention, event near you, tell them to bring me in. They can reach out and then I can come and teach. That's how I travel. It's how I do these things because people like you ask them to do it. If you want to see my schedule of my traveling and things, Mondays I post where I'm going to be, what I'm going to do, all the lovely things. So thank you and have a wonderful day.